Hello everybody. I hope everybody's okay. I've been absent for a while now, and I wasn't planning to make a video, but um, there is a thing that is being on my mind, and I feel guided to share. And also, it's gonna be a short message, I hope. But I think it's important for me to share with you guys because um, the way I see it, the way I understood the things that or the experience that I had, um, it's important to be shared because we all can help, you know, other souls to be freed, to be at peace. And everything happens like 2 or 3 days ago. I was, you know, even though I know post too much too often and it seems like I'm away all the time, I do check pages, I do check, things that I follow. And one of the pages that I follow is about ghost, right? And I see somebody that I was posting a house, a beautiful home that was used to, for like a funeral home. And the owner was saying that the home is very beautiful, right? But obviously it feels haunted. And even though the spirits haven't bothered them, they see them and they have had, experiences in the home. So for sure they can tell that there is spirits in the home. And being a, funeral home, obviously it will, the spirits can stay there um, for a while. So I feel the intention to give an answer. I feel guided to help this owner just a random basic answer and help, in case the person wanted it or needed it, right? I didn't expect to have the reaction that I had. A lot of people reading me and asking questions, right? It was a good experience for me because most of the times, me being the person that I am, when I comment on posts about things that I read and another post, people come at me always like criticizing me because my beliefs, of course. And it really surprised me, the reaction of the people, and I am very grateful and thankful for all of them, um, because even though I didn't expect in this community to receive some kind of warmth and welcoming, I didn't expect it to be that big, and it really surprised me. Let's say it surprised me. I didn't expect that reaction, and a lot of people making questions, right? Wanting help and wanting to know more about the things that I know, and it was very interesting. But also, it served me to understand things that I myself really didn't thought before. It was like God or Spirit guide me to this page, right? And when I was answering, I was, writing my answer. Um, I feel like I was channeling at the time. And most of the time, when there is like a subject that it has to do with what I do or what I know, it's like automatic channeling. I don't even ask God, help me with the answer or anything. It's like it comes naturally. It's like a spirit already guide me there because I already had the answer for that matter, right? That subject. Um, so I was texting or writing, and I feel how I was channeling. Most of the times when I know how I know that I am channeling is because I write things that I didn't know before until that specific time. It's information that I know for sure I didn't know. It didn't came from my head. You know what I'm saying? Is probably, yeah, you tapping in your ancient wisdom and all these things, but it's also because spirit is um, guiding you through the channeling, right? uh, Spirits and your ancestors, God itself, is guiding you through your messages. So a lot of times, and I think I said this before, a lot of times when I'm channeling, when I'm speaking on my videos, I speak things that I never knew, or point of views that are not mine. um, it comes from a spirit, right? So that's how I know that the information is not just true, but is reliable, because it's information that there's no way I haven't do research on these things. It just come, or the way I speak is automatically, um, you know, say it in ways that is well, now I'm more like talking like that, but before I didn't express myself in those ways until I start channeling. That's how I myself give credit to my channel messages, because I know it's information, or things that I won't say it like that, or I won't know unless, of course, it comes from a different source. That is not me, or it's my higher self, right? So as I was reading this answer, I felt it immediately that it was not me, because I never thought about this answer in particular. I never thought about this specific answer, right? So I was thinking there is a reason why I was guided to that page, and I've been told many times. I know for sure that I am a medium, even though I still have to work on my gift. Because I don't think about, I am being a medium when I am connecting or talking to my ancestors, or to my father, my brother. I don't think it like, oh, I am being a medium right now. I'm just normally communicating all the time back and forth. But if I try to connect, with a specific spirit or like that, I haven't do it randomly or at will. You know, it just it just well, yeah, randomly, but not at will, because it just come. I don't force it. I don't look for the connection. I don't look for the conversations, the communication. It just come to me when I need it the most. You know. For example, sometimes if I feel overwhelmed or whatever, I feel my father, my dad that passed away, my brother around me, and they start talking to me. I feel, their hugs and everything, and it just comes when I need it. And I see, visions of my angels, or my ancestors, when they are around me and they want to communicate with me, or they just want me to know that they are around me, right? The same with God. With God is around me, he lets me know it's he, the one that is letting me know stuff, spirit, right? I know for sure it's not um, me. I know who is who. That makes sense. I know the energy of each of, you know, of them. So when I start again writing these messages, and I noticed that I was guided to it. I thought like this must have, it has to be something, bigger than just spirit guiding me here. And it's because I have the mediumship gift, right? And the channeling gift, right? And I was thinking it could be something that the world needs to know as well, not just random people on this page, but I might as well talk about this to other people, so the people can also help others, right? And make a conscious thing, of trying to help spirits that are trapped still on earth, because when they pass away more unexpectedly, right? Um, and they get confused. Um, they don't know how to go back to their higher selves, right? So I've been listening about me as all the gifts that I have combined. I've been guided to, excuse me, I've been guided to the supernatural world for a reason, right? Um, Ghosts, spirits, all these things, um, to help not just human beings, right? Not just the souls that are still alive on earth, but also those that are trapped in between, to help people to, get rid of demons, shadows, entities, principalities, all these negative energies that haunt us, right? And they are everywhere. So God has given me the authority to do so, to be able to kind of exorcise, these negative energies, because I have been doing it in my own home when I've been attacked, when my kids been attacked, when these people send me their demons, their entities, or their attachment that I have sent to me and to my kids, I have been able to expel it, and don't allow them to get attached to my kid, for example, right? Because my little kid's been receiving almost the same things that they have sent to me, right? And I know this because the way she reacts and the way everything that she goes through is the same things that I have went through, more in the past, when I was just starting my journey, and I just start this training, and I start identifying what was my energy and what was not my energy, identifying how it feels, when the dead want to take you out, identifying when a spirit, a shadow, entity, a principality, whatever is trying to possess you or attach to you, to your body, to your soul, right? To affect your psychic, your mind. I went through all that. So now it's like I'm immune to all that. I feel when they send it to me, I barely have a little, tachycardia here and there, and then I know it's like somebody trying to penetrate my energy field and try to get to me, to my soul, my heart, and all that. But it's like it's too fast, and I just dismiss it just like that, right? But with my child, she has to understand, she has to learn, she's still, like kind of in training, let's say, because everything happens for a reason. Nothing is for free, and nothing is just because. Everything happened for a reason. And the thing that she's been attacked is been helping her to train her, basically, and how to fight a spiritual battle. She was pulled to be part of this warfare that these people put me under, thinking that it will be easy for them to get to me through her, you know, either by me losing her and being my feelings, right, and low my vibration so they can get me, or or by they swapping, you know, destinies, another bullshit that they think can do with her, right? But unbeknownst to them, the only thing that they've been doing is training her to be more strong, right? Because that's exactly what happens when we are attacked. If we can separate ourselves from what is happening here and just think, you know, more rationally, you know, why all this is happening, and how we can turn all these things in something positive for us, or to benefit us in a way that we can counterattack or defend ourselves, is how we start training ourselves, or rather, you know, spirit is training us, right? Going to war is the only way that we can really learn how to battle. We cannot learn in our homes, you know, but going through it. So my kid is being trained. These people, unbeknownst to them, have been used by spirit to train my kid on this warfare. Since they wanted to attack her, spirit says, okay, let's train this kid and let's show them how strong a kid can be, you know, once um, they get awakened too. So my kid is getting stronger, obviously, but when all these attacks started, I had to be the one to save her, basically, by praying, right, and teaching her how to react and all that, and be patient. And I mean, it's been chaotic, or was chaotic for a little bit, until she started growing more, you know, getting older, and now she can do it by herself with a little bit of help only. But I learned through it how to exercise. I do exorcism, you know, to get rid of this attachment that I want to possess her, right? And I know it's not just because that I've been led to learn all these things, okay? The spiritual rank or spiritual authority that some of us have are enough for us to expel all these um, entity, shadows, principality, genes, or whatever people sense, you know, no matter what they say, no matter how high rank the demon is. When you encounter the light, when you encounter an angel, when you encounter somebody that have the authority given by God, and you can um, expel them, you know, do the exorcist, and just get rid of them, right? In many ways, but mostly with God's word, right? Prayer and confidence of the authority you hold. So nobody teach me. I do know how to pray in Latin. I don't know how to do all these fancy rituals that some priests had to do, because I had the confidence in myself and the trust in God, first of all, right? That He's guiding me and that everything is gonna be fine. And then I know in the spirit, the rank and authority that I have in the spirit is enough for me to do it, right? So at first I just thought that it was just for me, for myself to protect myself and protect my loved ones, right? But as I've been, you know, evolving and growing and learning more and more and more about myself, my gifts, and the things that God has guided me to through my path, you know, through my whole life, um, I've been understanding that my help can, you know, um, expand more, you know, and I can do more than just sharing my testimony, you know, sharing the things that I had, the downloads, you know, from supernatural things, from the cosmos, the universe, and all these things all this information that I have access to, right? It's not like it's in my mind. I just have the access. I can just go pick the answer, and then once I give the answer, the thing stays with me. The information, the knowledge stays with me, right? But I'm not chasing the answer. I'm not. I know that if I've been leaded to something or guided to do something, I know it's because God already had the answer for me to tap in and just pull it, you know, and help. So with this experience, I start thinking uh, my gifts and the help that I can give is, you know, is expanding. It's not just, you know, about witchcraft and all these things, but also universal things, universal law, the truth, you know, about souls, reincarnation, and all these things. Um, you know, timelines, lifetimes, and all these things that I've been learning, you know, by experience, by me going through it, you know, quantum jumps, all these things I have experienced it firsthand, you know, um, as well as these experiences with a spirit, with ghost, right? Or, you know, pass on loved ones. So, um, so I understood with my answer what Spirit was telling me, that while I was writing down and I was reading, my myself was like, oh my God, like whatever I'm writing, you know, makes sense completely makes sense, and is good for us to know, because a lot of people have spirits in their homes, right? There is a lot of haunted houses everywhere. There's places where it's more um, like more noticeable than others. Like for example, England, right? England is a place that everybody knows is haunted, right? Like almost everywhere. And there is a lot of countries, there is a lot of places, a lot of cities or specific towns, small towns and things like that are haunted, because first of all, the thing that I learned is that we are energy, right? So because we are energy, even if we're still alive, our homes and everything that we touch and everything that, you know, we spend our lives, you know, long enough, or energy or essence, it lingers in those places, in those buildings, in those things, you know, or clothes or you know, jewelry or things like that. That's why a lot of people do witchcraft with our personal stuff, you know, or come and, you know, hex cars your homes, your land and all that, your car, your pet, because your essence, your energy is in these places, right? So um, when somebody dies in a home or was living in the home or in that building, you know, their energy also lingers, right? And if the spirit was unexpectedly, you know, die unexpectedly, in more if it's in a traumatic way, before they awaken to their own truth, they've been the light, they've been an energy, they've been infinite souls. They can get trapped in the between, you know. Some of them, they're scared of dying, or they always like longing for their families because they die too soon, or they miss their families, their relatives, you know, their homes and all that, and they choose to stay because they don't know where to go, they don't know, they don't want to walk to the light or whatever, right? And more when a soul is not awakened to their true nature, that is being a spirit, being an energy, right? And we know that energy cannot be destroyed, right? So they don't know how to go back to their higher self. They don't know how to go back to God, to be one with source, basically. So that's why there is a lot of haunted houses. It's not just because they want to be there. It's not just because, they want to haunt us and make us suffer. In reality, they are the ones that are suffering. They are in a loop, that they're dead. And sometimes most of them don't even know that they're already passed. They're souls that are confused, right? They don't know what the fuck, basically, right? So, but me understanding about energy and how energy lingers in places, how you know difficult could be for a spirit, a soul, to go back to their higher self when they don't even knew what they were. They were thinking that they were only the vessel, and no energy, right? No a soul that belongs to source, right? It's easier for the soul to get trapped, right? So what I was telling these people was, if you want to clear the energy, because a lot of people is like they don't care, the houses are haunted, they're comfortable with the spirits because the spirits don't bother them, and it's fine, right? Everybody has their decision. If you want to be living in a haunted home and you feel fine about it, it's fine. As long as you're fine, I guess it's fine, right? It's your decision. But if you want to clear the energy from your home, your family, yourself, or you just want to help the spirit to cross, you know, we can do so by talking to them, by lighting a candle, right? Burn or smudge with cedar, right? Or sage, depending if the energy is good or bad. Um, and we can talk with the spirits, right? More when we know that is a spirit, the people that pass on, right? That there is not like demonic things, because for demonic things you need a professional, right? Uh, um, or the spiritual rank, because a lot of people is not professional like me. I'm not a professional exorcist or anything like that, but because I hold the spiritual rank, I can get rid of bad energies, right? But people that can know how, fight these entities and can be easily be possessed by trying to, get rid of them, a lot of them get mad and they start more, more chaos and more haunting, when you try to get rid of them, because you don't possess the authority. So you are somehow weak against them. So what happens is like they possess you, right? So that's why we always have to look for professional people, for professional um, that know what to do or how to do it, right? Without exposing your vessel to that negative energy that can, hurt you or possess you, right? So when you know that the spirits are good, they just pass on and they're like kind of lost, kind of trapped, you know. Um, it will be good if we all, in the world, let's say, can help all these souls go back to the higher self, go back to be one with source, helping them out of compassion to free them, and not because we fear them, not because we want to get rid of them, but because it's a human thing, to help another human that already lost the vessel, already, die, and the contract is done, or was, die in a tragic way before their time or whatever, and they are trapped. So I've been guiding to share this with you guys. If you have any relative or any spirit in your home that you know for sure they don't do anything bad, they linger there, but maybe they will linger for years, some thousand of years, because a lot of people is been dying in you know tragedies, wars, accidents, in different ways, and there's a lot of spirits that still linger for hundreds of years, Now, I'm not saying that completely that spirit is lost. It can be just a fractal or fragment of your soul in that specific life, because the way I understand is like we have different lives or timelines all happening at once in different dimensions, on different planets, on different, even on Earth, we live in different lives, parallel, to each other, overlap, because time doesn't exist, right? So one of your lives, one of the essence of the fragment of fractal of your soul that die in that particular life, right, could be lingering, still lost, haven't go back to your higher self, right? So it's kind of trapped. So when you call your power back, when you call your energy back from all lifetime and timelines and all this, you also calling all these fragments and fractals of your soul that is lost or is lingering somewhere else, either because it died tragically, or because it has been trapped, right? Or it's just lost, in still living but lost, right? So it doesn't remember the higher self, so you don't have that communication with that part fractal fragment of your soul, right? And I think it will be beautiful for them if we can help them too. Imagine the world, liberating all the souls, going back to source, going back to to the higher self, being free, not just for us to clean the houses, but auto compassion for them to go back, because maybe one of those souls is part of your higher self. You know what I'm saying? It's a part that is still make you feel, maybe with you knowing why you're grieving all your life, you're in sadness, you're in a depression, you feel like something wrong is gonna happen or something wrong is happening to you, when you can explain what it is, but maybe it's that piece of your soul, your a fragment fractal of your soul that is having another human experience or another living experience somewhere else, right? That is suffering because probably passed away, and it haven't go back to you, to your higher self, right? And then obviously back one to with source. I know it sounds a little crazy, but it's the information that I've been getting, and it makes sense with the knowledge that I have so far. It makes sense to me how souls and things work. I know I need to learn more, and I'm sure I'm gonna learn more, because it's information that just come to me. Spirit guide me to get the information out somehow. So if that makes sense to you, if that is your situation, if you know your home is haunted, or there is a spirit that are good spirits, and you want to do something good for them, the things that you can do is, like I say, pray, it's much with cedar. I understand that cedar is to cleanse houses that are haunted from spirits, right? Sage is used more for negative energies, right? So I recommend cedar, to light a white candle if you feel called for, right? And praying and talking to them, and ask God always for a guidance, so you can be guided as you speak, you know, so you can help them. First of all, remember who they are, right? Because we all have to remember who we are and where we came from. Not just we, the ones that are alive, but also the ones that are dead and are trapped, because they never knew who they were. They never remembered, when they were alive. So um, helping them, to talking to them and telling them you are one with God, you are light, you are a being of light, you are immortal, just your vessel was dead, but you are not your vessel, you are light, you belong to source, right? You are a being of light, a being of love, a being of, eternity, right? So they can remember who they are, and they can go back to source, they can go back to themselves, right? and that way they liberate themselves, they free themselves um, from the self-imposed prison that they are in by not knowing, not remembering who they are in the first place. Now, um, as a experience, because like I say, everything that I say because I've been going through, right? I already experienced these things. That's how I have the confidence to talk about it too. Not just because I get information from God and my guides, but also because I have experienced these things. So as a side note, an experience, when my brother passed away, I remember for a whole week, my my room, my bedroom, the temperature was always down, and I was always getting cold, like super cold, more at night time. And I thought, at first I thought it was like an entity or something, you know. For sure I knew it was a spirit, right? But I didn't know that my brother was dying because nobody told me until the day that he died. Uh, Accordingly to them, he was for a whole week, I think, in the hospital before he passed away. So I didn't know that my brother was dying. I didn't know it was a loved one. I just feel a spirit with me because the temperature was going down, but I couldn't tell if it's good or bad because it was a heavy, 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 heavy energy. Okay, when I got notified that my brother was dying, after I hung up, what I did was I lit a candle and I started talking to him. And I remember crying. And I remember telling him to not be scared. I told him, don't be scared. We are infinite. We are immortals. Remember your contact, brother. Go with God. Remember remember who you are and your contract. And if your contract is living right now, everything is gonna be fine. And if not, you're gonna come back and everything is gonna be fine, right? Either way, right? But don't feel scared. You're not dying, you know? If anything, it's just gonna be the vessel. But you're fine, you know? We have contracts, and sometimes it's unexpectedly because we don't remember it, right? We don't remember that we were signed off that, oh, we're gonna pass away in an accident, we're gonna pass away in a tragic way, we're gonna pass away, peacefully, or we're gonna pass away too old or too young. It's the contract that we have, right? And all this I learning with the near-death experiences, research that I did way before that happens. That's why I was like more prepared to accept the death of my brother and my father, even though to me it's unfair and all that. Regardless of that, I accepted because I was already prepared psychologically about what it means for us to be dying. It's just the vessel. It's not us. We are not the vessel. We are using the vessel to have this human experience, but we are not the vessel, right? So with that information, I was talking to my brother and I was telling him all these things and I was crying. I was talking from my heart, right? Remembering the information that I have. And I was talking to him and I was telling him, don't be scared. First of all, don't be scared. Everything is going to be fine. You're not dying. Your vessel is the one that is there, but your soul is alive. You are energy. You are light. Go with God. Go back to Him and speak with Him about your contract. Is your contract done or not? If your decision is come back or not, it's between you and God, right? But don't be scared. And as I say that, I don't remember how long it happens. I got notified that he passed away. Now, at that time, me and my ex, we already broke and everything, break up and everything. And he gave me the confirmation that my brother told him. He saw my brother I don't know what he was trying to see, but he was trying to see something, and he saw my brother. And my brother, what my ex told me is that my brother told him to tell me that I was right, and that was the message. Now my ex says that he saw like a red energy or something like that. Must have been his aura, and he want him to tell me. He want me to know that I was right, you know. Now my ex-boyfriend was somewhere else. We already break up. He was mad at me and all the things, and he didn't know what was going on. I haven't tell him anything. When he told me that, I cried because it was a confirmation for sure, that my brother, first of all, he listening to me, he was with me, indeed, or that all that, temperature going low and all that heavy energy, it was like intermittent energy, like he was dying, like I was feeling like he was dying, like comes and back and forth, and until I knew that it was him, and I started talking to him, and I lit the candle and everything to help him, basically to calm down, right, and help him probably to get better if that was, God's call, or to go in peace, acceptance, right? So I tried to help him naturally from my heart. I didn't think about anything I'm gonna help him to cross over, or no, I just tried because I love my brother. I just try to help him, right? To don't be scared, because when I remember all these days, all this week that he was like, dying, and all this energy that I was feeling, and I understood that it was him, I was hurt, right? I was hurt, just couldn't imagine what his spirit was going through, right? So me as a sister, what I want is for him to, to stop that pain, right? To stop the uncertainty of what is going on. Maybe he was in a dark place, we don't know, right? But for sure he knew he was dying. His body was, very affected, right? So I was guided from my heart to speak to him, to light this candle and help him to remember who he was, to remember that he was just the vessel, but an infinite being of light, right? And as soon as when he passed away, all the temperature and everything was gone, and it was like a peace. I got notified that he passed away, and I was so fucking sad. But I knew that he was better, if that makes sense, that his soul wasn't not suffering no more, that somehow he understood what was going on and accepted, right? And he probably went back to God, right? Have his review and everything that, souls go through once they remember and all that, and are consciously of what happened. And then I got the confirmation. My ex, without knowing what happened, he just told me, your brother showed and told me, or I think I told him, and as I was telling him that he passed away, he told me his experience with his energy, and he told me he wanted me to know you that you was right. And he was doubting of telling me, because he said that he was mad at me, first of all, and he was so mad that he was thinking like, no, I'm not gonna tell him nothing, and blah 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 blah, not knowing that he was dying, my brother, and he said that when he saw the clock it was 11:11, which I found a very interesting synchronicity. But that's how he told me the thing happened. He saw this energy, and it was like reddish energy, and what he communicates was that, like, let her know that she was right. So all the pain and all the things that I was feeling from my brother disappeared completely, and it didn't take it so long, like probably a month or so, when I start feeling him back, like my brother, once he passed away, and he do whatever the spirits do when they pass away, he came back as my guide, and he's been with me ever since, right? I recognize his energy, and he always let me know he's around. He showed me himself in my mind's eye, and he communicates with me, and I have seen him, you know. And then when my father was in the hospital again, nobody told me nothing until he was really bad to the point that we cannot communicate. Um, I did the same thing. I lit a candle and I started talking with my dad. My dad was suffering for longer because my dad always fight, you know. He was very strong-minded man, so he always tried to fight until he couldn't, right? Um, Most because he was attached to his kids, you know, in a difference from my brother. Not saying that my brother didn't love his kids or anything, but my father was, his whole world was his family. He lived for his family, and his family was the most important thing in the world. He never gave up because of us. So he fight hard to stay, you know. But he decided to go because he could have stayed. I know this. He could have stayed, but he decided to go once he found out a lot of stuff that was happening. He decided to go so he could help better from the spirit realm. He knew that he could help better from the spirit realm because here he couldn't see no more, right? He was ill. He was a little old, you know, going through a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff was happening that he knew that it was better for him to be in the spirit realm in order to help and see what was going on, right? So he decided to leave as well. So um, I also lit a candle. I also pray, and I also ask, you know, my ancestors to guide him, you know, to remember who he was in the spirit, to remember that it's just the vessel, you know, and it was okay if he decided to go or stay, you know, but to remember who he was. And yeah, my father passed away as well because he decided to go. He knew that it was better or stronger in the spirit that his vessel was hurt, you know, and whatever was happening around him, he knew he was stronger in the spirit, so he just decided to go. And the same with my brother. It didn't pass too long, you know, when he came back in spirit, and he's ever since back and forth. My brother, I feel my brother more than my dad. It seems like my dad is back and forth. I don't know what he does, but he's also my guy. But he's more back and forth. He's doing a lot of stuff. I understood that he was an ascended master already in the spirit. Yes. So he do a lot of stuff in the spirit realm. He's not just assisting me, of course, but that was my experience back then, and it was way before, you know. It's been more than a year since they passed away, both of them, and I've been learning more through my journey to this point, you know, and my experiences as a medium, you know, having the beautiful gift to connect with them, to listen to them, to feel them, just like I feel God around me, inside of me, you know. It's a beautiful gift, you know, that a lot of people demonize, but it's so beautiful having this being the bridge between the spirit realm and earth. It's a beautiful gift, and you knowing that you can help them, you know, is even better, because my brother and my father that died unexpectedly under the circumstances that they died, they could easily get trapped, you know, even bitter, you know, sad, angry in the spirit, you know, or become a shadow, you know, with all these feelings of being taken out unexpectedly. and probably never find themselves, back to source. But because God gave me this beautiful gift, He blessed me with this beautiful gift, I could help them move on and remember who they were. So it was very fast for them to go to the process that spirits go, whatever that process is, you know. So when I was lead to this page about ghosts and all this, and I start, sharing my knowledge, my experiences, and channeling the things that Spirit wants me to tell these people, I notice how important it is for us to help our loved ones. As painful as it is to let them go, is with love. It's for compassion for that soul that is already gone. you know and to help them to know who they are, so they don't have to stay too much in the between, in the dark, suffering because their lives were taken. You know what I'm saying? By whatever reason, you know and instead of letting them be for years, centuries, and all this just lingering around suffering, we can help them go, just by helping them remember who they were, who they are, and honoring their memory, honoring their souls and their times with us. And even if we didn't remember them, I mean, if we didn't know them in life, like when you buy a new house, and you find spirits there, you don't know who they are, you never knew who they were, out of compassion, help them to remember themselves, so they can finally break those chains and go back to source, to go back to themselves, to their truth, their true nature. So I know I have been led, or guided rather, to this for a reason. And it's also because Gaia purging, a lot of souls dying, a lot of souls dying in tragic ways, accidents, under the evil, and all these dramatic things that are happening, and a lot of people losing their lives. Like I said before, a lot of people is, their contracts are just ending, and they end the way they it was, the contract written, So we can help all these souls go back to source. Not just because we want to get rid of them, but don't be attached to them. Let them go. It's a way to raise the vibration too, to get the light, be the light, instead of keep these souls in the dark, in a low vibrational, out of fear and anger and sadness because their lives were taken, Instead, helping them to remember that they are light, that they are one with source, and they are infinite beings, and they are not the vessels, so they can ascend as well, to source, and clean, help Mother Gaia clean all these energies that could be in lower vibration just because they are suffering, confused that their lives were taken, trying to be attached to us, to the only memory they have. And us, we need to work on that love that we have for our loved ones and let them go in peace. And they will come back when you accept what that really is and what really meant for us, right? And you let them go, it's easier for them to come back and communicate with you because they are not confused, they are not in the shadow, they are not in the between, right? They can travel now, they can move around, they know who the fuck they are. So they can easily find you and communicate with you, and you can feel them, right? But if we just attach to them, we keep them in that low vibration because they feel our pain. They feel like we cannot let them go because we're grieving, right? We also keep them in that vibration, in that shadow, in that confusion, in that anger, because we are suffering because of them dying, right? So we are also keeping them here, and we are also suffering, right? But we liberate all these emotions and we accept that as just part of the existence, the experience, but not an end, and they also remember who they are. It's a harmony, it's a balance, right? And by you releasing them, you also release yourself from the grief, right? And then when you have the opportunity to have them around you, it's in peace. It's no grief, it's no more pain, it's your peace and love. It's all that you feel. Of course you miss them. Of course you wish they have a body so you can hug them. Of course. That's not gonna end because it's experience that you already have with them, right? So you're gonna want to feel it again. But when you understand that it doesn't matter, they are not the vessel, they are this energy that they always gonna love you and is always around you. The grief, I'm not gonna say disappear, but it's better for us to move on, continue with our lives, knowing that it was just the vessel. The essence, what they are and they mean for us, is still alive. They still there, right? And they are free because now they know if they are, galactic beings as the masters or whatever, they are doing what they're supposed to do. They're not just trapped in the between earth, and the spiritual realm. They are free. They remember who they are. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful mission that we all can take if we want our compassion and love for our loved ones and for all those spirits that are lingering in places where probably nobody remembers them, and they've been trapped for so long. Do it out of love, do it for compassion, and to help the vibration of earth, to help Gaia to purge all these energies that are trapped in lower vibrations, and yeah, to help also to remember who they are, because it could be you never know. You know what I'm saying? So waking up to your true nature is very helpful when you finally end your contract and pass away, because you're not scared. You know what is going on. You know, or have an idea what the process is gonna be. So think about that. It could be you, and it will be sad for you to be trapped, you know, in constant grief for centuries. Can you imagine? It's better to know who you are so you can move on, finish your contract, and find yourself, go back to your higher self, go back to source, you know, and free all this energy that is in the darkness. So if you like this message, if you feel moved somehow, if you have experienced these things, even, losing someone, um, you can do these things for them. For them, thinking that it could be you or your child or your husband. We never know. It could be a loved one. So help these souls if your heart calls you to do so. And always be compassionate and love always. Show love always above all. Show God and show love. And that is my message. I hope you like it, and thank you for watching me. I will be back soon. I love you guys.